No. 83. There we go. Okay. Share. Sha. Okay, we are live. The worst thing right now be if I had like something in my nose. That would totally suck. But we're gonna jump right into it. There we go. And see, look, nothing in my nose, so I have nothing to be like super embarrassed about. Ugh. Oh man. Okay. Let's see. Wait till some people stroll on in. Actually gives me time to get my books out from this week. Not a lot, but you know, still a pretty good haul, honestly. Mostly just like stuff I bought online. Let's see. Announce yourself. Hey, what's good, Arcus? How you doing, buddy? What's up? Hey, man, not much. Just picking up some comics. What's up, John? Hey, the gang's here. The gang's rolling in. Hey, what's going on, Tristan? How you doing? Good week. Start finals this week. Oh, wow. Oh, you're finished your first semester of college after this. Dude, congratulations, man. Dude, big step. Well, I mean, good luck. I guess, like, if I can impart anything, it'd be that, take finals, what's a nice way of putting this so, like, YouTube doesn't get mad at me? Finals are like, I like chocolate. So I don't know what I'm saying. Don't forget about finals. Just don't forget about it. Everything is gonna work out fine. Reading Ram v Swamp Thing. I didn't read that one. I haven't read a lot of Swamp Thing. I'm like noticing. I've read a lot of stuff with Swamp Thing in it, but I haven't like actually read Swamp Thing. I've bought a lot of Swamp Thing. Like I got all those. Well, not all of them. I got most of the Alan Moore Swamp Thing series in like a garage sale, and then I gave them away. So that wasn't smart, but bought the first volume of Claremont's X-Men. Oh, sweet. The Epic Collection. And got Alita. Alita's a really good read. Dude, if you're like reading that for the first time, I'm super jealous of you. That's a great book. I had a great first reading experience with that. I hope you have the same, man. I like the Scott Snyder Swamp Thing New 52 run. Yeah, that's a really underrated one. I kind of skipped issues here and there. That's when I started like trying to do like the back issue like dollar bin thing. So I had like issue like 3 here, issue 6 there, blah blah blah. I don't think I actually got the whole thing, but I liked what I read of it. It was just like never a big priority because I always wanted to like read the Alan Moore series. So I actually might end up. Fuck it. Let's see. Alan Moore. Dude, there's like a lot of comics on Amazon that are just dirt cheap. I know Amazon's like an evil corporation, and I get that, blah blah blah, but um yeah, okay, yeah, alright. Add to list. New 52 Animal Man was good. Dude, yes! Oh man, so crazy. I actually shout out New 52 Animal Man in my next video, which I should be uploading tomorrow. Animal Man is just really good. Oh man. Who did that? Was that Jeff Lemire? I think that was Jeff Lemire. I remember the art changing in that a lot, but apparently that was because like the artist got fired, so they had to like switch up the inkers and whatever mid bullshit. But yeah, New 52 Animal Man was really good. That's another one of those New 52 books that I'm always pointing to when people say the New 52 is trash. I'm like, yeah, but was it though? Or was just what it becomes one of those 90s comics are trash kind of arguments where it's like, were they, or was it just the stuff you were reading? Because there's a lot of stuff that was coming out that was like actually really good. Animal Man's fantastic. Jeff Lemire's the GOAT. Got some nibbles from my local comic shop. Batman Santa Claus #1. I didn't get it this week. I might get it tomorrow though. Everyone's been saying it's really good. The only new books I would have picked up this week were Transformers #3, which, by the way, this is so good. This book is so cool. With Optimus Prime like ripping his arm off and just beating Starscream with it. Come on, dude. Wait, no, is it Starscream or was it Jetstream? I think it was Starscream. I get a lot of the Decepticons mixed up because I'm like a Decepticon racist, but I'm pretty sure this is wait, no, this Starscream is red, so it's not Starscream. I don't know. Hold on. But either way, dude, I really like this book. The art in this is like super dynamic. Daniel Warren Johnson was like literally, he was made, he was crafted by God to draw and write Transformers. This book is so awesome. Also, like, his paneling is really good. That's another thing I'm noticing after I'm like, I've started working on comics and making my own comics and working with artists. Paneling is it's a big part of the process, and just his technique is just what the like. He's a machine, but like an organic machine. He's a human machine built for making comics. Just look at all that. I think I showed this page already, but like, look at that. This is so cool. Dude, Transformers is like my must-read book of every week. I love it. I'm a big Daniel Warren Johnson fan though, but yeah, DWJ, anything he's on, I'm gonna buy. I have to buy it. What's up, Supreme? How you doing, buddy? But yeah, the other new book that I picked up this week was Shazam #6, and this book continues to be a lot of fun. It's not changing the world or anything, but it's kind of good to just read a mainstream superhero comic and go like, this is fun. This is fun, good superhero fare. I know. There's a retailer. I think his name is Glenn. Um, he got like internet famous, uh, like this week because he was crapping on like Marvel and DC, and you had like all these comic creators and YouTubers jumping down his throat and like roasting him and making fun of his appearance, and they're shitting on his store and saying he's like a bad store owner. I mean that I don't know. That whole thing was that was brutal. But I don't know. I'm gonna say this as someone who genuinely does like a lot of comics coming out right now. I think while the current output of American comics, quality-wise, is sound, there is still the reputation that American comics garnered over the past 6 or 7 years, which earned a lot of American publishers a lot of bad faith. And a lot of comic shop owners are still suffering from said bad faith. And I don't know, I feel like trying to like Chad meme in the face of like an industry wide turmoil. It's just not the way to go, and trying to like win back audiences. Also kind of like pretending that there's no problem or that there wasn't ever a problem. I don't think that's the way to move forward with like fixing things, or like building a good relationship with like retailers, who like are the gatekeepers for people buying your products. So I don't know. It's just there's a lot going on in comics, and that whole video was just, I don't know. I don't even like 100% agree with Glenn. I think he's kind of dead wrong on some of those matters, but I don't know. I think he'd be a fascinating person to talk with. Yeah, I'll say that. The main superhero stuff in the New 52 is bad, but the more obscure genre stuff is pretty good, like All-Star Western, Animal Man, and Resurrection Man. Actually, I got Resurrection Man here. I haven't read it yet, but a buddy of mine, he just gave it to me, so I now have that on my bookshelf. That's something I have to read at some point. About to finish Crisis on Infinite Earths. Damn it. Shit. I scrolled. Okay. About to finish Crisis on Infinite Earths. It's awesome. Dude. You're a better man than me. Every time I've never finished reading Crisis. I've never finished it. Every time I start it, I get bored and I probably put it down. And then let's just skip to the ending. Like I know what happens in Crisis. I know like the important beats, but like I've never actually like read it. But I will at some point. Everyone says it's really good. Everyone says it's one of those books where it feels like homework until it isn't. So I just have to like buckle down and like stop being a little bitch about it. Let's see. Also, Demon Knights. Is that a New 52 book? I didn't check it out, but I mean, if we're recommending like New 52 books, then like I'll check it out. I'll add it to the list. What do you think of Cy Spurrier's X-Men Blue controversy? With the retcon of Nightcrawler's origins. That's a big controversy, I feel. I I'm seeing a lot of people like bitch about it on the internet, but like I don't know. I'm not even a big X-Men guy, but even I know that it was originally intended for Mystique to be Nightcrawler's like biological father, mother, because Mystique is like a shapeshifter, so they can be whatever gender they want, and because they can be whatever gender they want, that means that they can grow whatever parts they want, and I don't know, that's a really interesting science fiction concept. I've always liked that idea. I always kind of rejected the idea that, or I always rejected the reality that we lived in a world where Jim Shooter was like, nope, that's too weird. I always wished that kind of happened. And just weird stuff like that in comics happening. Because I like the weird sci-fi aspect of the X-Men, and I wish Marvel would actually kind of like do more with it. So this retcon just kind of, I don't know, it's cool. I think it's cool. I think it's interesting. But fucking, I'll be honest. A lot of the outrage for not just this, but a lot of things I see in superhero comics come from people who don't actively read superhero comics. So controversy, it's a strong term. I only really consider it to be controversial if people who actually engage with the medium see it as like a divisive issue. In which case, I'm not seeing a lot of people who read comics freak out about it. It's a lot of people who don't read comics freaking out about it. But that's my hot take, I suppose. But it is cool that that Cy Spurrier kind of like roped in that like age-old intention that Claremont had for the character originally. If only someone can go back and make it so that Charles died and Magneto took over the X-Men at some point, kind of like in the 90s cartoon, that'd be cool. But, you know, maybe Marvel will be brave enough to let that actually stick. One day. Do you think all superheroes are self-inserts? Not all superheroes, but I mean, there's a lot of characters in superhero comics that are 100% self-inserts. Steve Ditko literally just drew himself as Peter Parker. Like, literally, he just made himself Peter Parker. You know, there's also, like, Frank Miller put a lot of himself in his Batman material. In fact, I think he said he came up with Dark Knight Returns after getting mugged. So like, yeah, there's a lot of self-insert in superhero stories. A lot of Daredevil from again Frank Miller and Klaus Janson. A lot of that is Miller and Janson kind of like reflecting on their love lives at the time. That goes triple for everyone who writes Spider-Man. What was it, like Peter J. Tomasi and Dan Jurgens when they were doing Action Comics and Superman during the Rebirth era. They were just talking about how whenever they were writing scenes between John and Clark, they were just writing conversations between themselves and their children. Like, it's an age-old writing technique. Like, write what you know. Write what you experience. You know? Put yourself in the book. That's about as self-inserty as you can get. That's what storytelling is, you know? It's taking real life frames of references and then kind of putting them on this like otherworldly sort of like mythical science fiction fantastical scale. That's what a lot of superhero comics are. So I don't know. like when Glenn's going on about the whole like don't put yourself in the book. I reject that hypothesis. A lot of people put themselves in comics. It's an age old thing. Like, you don't get Chris Claremont's X-Men without a little bit of like him inserting himself and his like the conversations he had with his friends and family and whatnot into that book. You don't get a lot of Spider-Man without Jerry Conway and Stan Lee injecting themselves into the book. You know, it's, I don't know, man. Yeah, write what you know. It's a tried and true method. I think my own problem with the comic book guy of 30 years is that it's the old man yelling at the Cloud Synergy. Everything was much better in the past. Yeah, there's a lot of that, but I feel like people jump to that mindset whenever they're approached with anything new that they don't like. Like you see this with a lot of contemporary. Like I see this a lot with a lot of contemporary conservatives. I mean, if we're gonna get political, I guess we're just jumping right into it. But like a lot of Western contemporary conservatives kind of jump on the past was better bandwagon, which you get a lot of pushback from like contemporary liberals. Which in and of itself breeds a lot of discourse. Some of it I think is about as intelligent as, well, whatever, fuck it. I think it's not intelligent. I'm not even gonna try to like waste time coming up with something clever for like a lot of contemporary liberal arguments. But a lot of conservatives kind of point to the whole, well, the past was better because the 50s, blah blah blah. You know, the men of the household had this, and the everyone had a house and a family, and it's like, not really. That's maybe what like the American propaganda told you. That's maybe what like we were telling other countries, but the reality is things were tough back then, just like they're tough now for everyone. Like this idealized past does not exist wherever you look, be it film, because you see this a lot with film too. People talk about how movies before Marvel were so much better, and it's like, dude, the reason Marvel movies took off was because we got a lot of shitty rom-coms throughout the 20s, like not 20s, the mid 2000s. We got like crappy rom-coms and like Michael Bay movies and Michael Bay derivatives, most of which sucked. So like the past was better. Wherever you look, that argument's always gonna be flawed and stupid. But yeah, no. When Glenn's talking about how like comics used to be better, it's whatever, man. Yeah, in like the 80s, you got like, you know, Walt Simonson's Thor. That was awesome. But you know what you also got in the 80s? Power Pack. Yeah, we got Power Pack in the 80s. We also got like a bunch of like crappy fucking X-Force clones throughout the 90s. And I like the 90s a lot. Like I've made videos about how much I love the 90s and how the 90s was like a hotbed of like awesome content. But there's also a lot of trash that came out then. There's a lot of trash that came out in the 2000s. There's a lot of trash that came out in the 70s. There's a lot of trash that came out in the 60s. There's a lot of trash that came out in the 2010s. There's a lot of trash that's gonna come out in the 2020s and 2030s. That's just how it's gonna be. You know? I don't know, man. That whole mindset of things used to be better back in my day. I call it back in my day-itis. That's a mental disease that a lot of people suffer from. I wonder if your main problem with Crisis on Infinite Earth is that you're not attached to pre-Crisis DC lore. That's probably the case. I'm I mean, there's some cool stuff in the pre-crisis DC era that I really resonate with. I love pre-crisis Batman. Pre-crisis Superman I'm coming to appreciate. Doom Patrol's kind of cool. Because I'm reading some of those old Doom Patrol collections. But yeah, like outside of and I love the Flash. I don't know how I forgot the Flash, but I love the Flash. But like outside of that, I just don't care about pre-crisis DC universe. So maybe that's why I don't really care that like it gets blown up and replaced by a new Earth. I'm like whatever. But it's also just like I don't know. It's not sexy like the other crises are. Like I feel like Infinite Crisis, which is like the big epic sequel. There's it's snappy, it's bloody, it's sexy, it's fun to read. Final Crisis is like this weird esoteric, like almost kind of like a weird Eyes Wide Shut religious experience. And I just kind of don't get that with the original Crisis. I don't know what it is. It feels like doing homework. And I think I'm the only person who's ever had that experience with it, because everyone else I know loves it. I don't know. Maybe it's just a me thing. It's just a me thing. That's it. What's up, Tevia? How you doing, buddy? Wait, if Mystique's is Nightcrawler's father now, then that means Azazel is the mother now. Well, apparently, apparently the Azazel fatherhood is retconned as well. So like Mystique had a child with Destiny. So Destiny is like she's Kurt's mother, like biological mother, and Mystique is the biological father. Question: has there been any change that didn't anger fans? Because it seems like every change seems to piss someone off, even the even the good, well written ones. Yeah, I mean, I think. I'm trying to think of like a change that people like unanimously loved. I can't think of one. Like I know Wally West when he became the Flash. I know for like a lot of Flash fans, like right now, it's kind of hard to look back and think of Wally being this divisive figure, but a lot of people didn't like Wally taking on the Flash mantle. I know a lot of people didn't like Jason Todd when he became Robin. I know a lot of classic Avengers fans didn't like the new Avengers status quo that Bendis wrote in the early 2000s. In fact, I know a lot of Avengers fans, or I know a lot of classic Avengers fans don't like anything from like Bendis up through Hickman. Apparently like Peter Parker getting married was divisive for a lot of Spider-Man fans, as was MJ dying, and then MJ coming back, and then Clone Saga, or I mean Clone Saga happens before that, but like still, all the stuff that happened with Spider-Man throughout the 90s was like heavily divisive, to the point now where just no one likes Spider-Man. Wonder Woman being retconned as being the daughter of Zeus. People didn't like that. Which, I mean, I get it. Like, you know, Diana's supposed to be like this ultimate... she is the ultimate woman in that she is not conceived... I love the weird retcon that Brian Azzarello gives. I think that's a wonderful retcon. I thought it was really cool, and I thought it was always really cool how Azzarello and Cliff Chang retcon that the Hippolyta making Diana out of clay, like the classic origin. That's all a smokescreen so that Hera wouldn't storm the island and murder her. So I don't know. I think that's a pretty cool. I thought that was a pretty cool retcon, but you know, I'm in the minority there. And once again, I scrolled too aggressively. My fault. Question. Why nor Marvel have or why not Marvel have Peter and Mary Jane be married in the mainstream Marvel universe, similar to the new Ultimate Marvel with Peter Parker and Mary Jane with their children? A lot of it's pride. A lot of it's just pride. One More Day was divisive, or I guess I'll say more than divisive. There were some strong reactions from the internet, and Marvel is just a very prideful company. And I know that now after having worked at a comic book store. I know that Marvel is run by a bunch of people who don't like to admit that they're wrong. Those are just the people that Marvel Comics hires. That's the attitude over at Marvel Comics. I can do no wrong, and everything every shit I take is liquid gold. It's solid liquid gold. It's all gold. Everything I do is gold. Everything I touch turns to gold because I'm Marvel. And if you don't like it, well then clearly you're an idiot. Those are the people who are just in charge at Marvel Comics. That's the attitude at Marvel Comics. And a lot of people not liking the post One More Day status quo. As far as the people in charge at Marvel are concerned, you're an idiot. You're an idiot and you're wrong. And it doesn't matter how many readers we lose on average. The readers are just wrong. That's really just it. That's it. That's why you're not going to see a married Peter and MJ or like an adult Peter at Marvel Comics. They got to stick it to the fans, who are clearly stupid. That's just their mentality, man. What a mentality to have. But I know people in real life who are just like that. They're just gonna do that. Even when they go down with the ship, they're gonna be like, "Well, I was right. It was everyone else who was wrong." And it's not that Marvel hates Peter Parker or Mary Jane. It's literally just a pride issue. They can't admit that they were wrong, because by God, why would Marvel Comics ever be in the wrong? As much as we love Ultimate Spider-Man, you have to admit Ultimate Flash and MJ are not cool and developed as 616 Flash and MJ. Absolutely. I mean, I don't like Ultimate MJ in that I feel like Bendis just kind of makes her the girlfriend. I don't think she's like a really fully fleshed out character. And like even when like she does get development here and there, she just doesn't feel as well rounded as 616 MJ. Now, granted, you're looking at these characters at two very different points in their lives. We don't meet 616 MJ until her and Peter are adults in college. And with Ultimate Spider-Man, we're looking at a very young MJ. You know, it's a teenager. She's still figuring things. She's figuring things out. So you know, the fact she's not like as well rounded as 616 MJ, I think you can kind of get a pass there. But also, the Ultimate Spider-Man comic book, we're largely looking at that world through Peter's eyes. So I don't know. I think certain characters not coming off as fully fleshed out or three-dimensional comes from the fact that we're only seeing them from Peter's perspective. It's the reason why Nick Fury kind of comes off as this finger-wagging paternal figure. But when you go and check out like Mark Miller's The Ultimates, he's more like Henry Kissinger and Shaft if they were fused into one person. So I don't know. I appreciate what Bendis was going for with Ultimate Spider-Man, but I do like I do love the development that Flash Thompson and MJ receive in the main Marvel universe as opposed to the 1610 universe. Peter Parker is totally a self-insert. He's a self-loathing shonen harem anime protagonist who only pretends to be normal. Yeah. Question, why is it Marvel lets Peter Mary Jane? Again, just like they don't want to be, they don't want to prove that they were ever wrong, or they have to prove that they weren't wrong. Also, a lot of bad superhero movies in the early 2000s. Yeah. Although I think there were a lot of. I think time is proving there were a lot more good things than bad things coming out back then. Dark Guy says, if you question what's going on in comic book Twitter, the response is, haha, what? Yeah, dude, take a Twitter break if you have to. Like, I know I always joke about this, but like this, like really just kind of put into perspective the crowd that you kind of see with comic book Twitter. I remember when I think a bunch of like kids discovered the Judas Contract, and they were like, Deathstroke's problematic because he's a pedophile, and I was like, news, breaking news, bad guy does bad things, more news at 11. And then like comic book Twitter like jumped down my throat. They're like, how dare you say that a bad guy doing bad things, are you trying to justify pedophilia? And it's like, no, man, just, like, literally I don't even know how you come to that conclusion, but that's comic book Twitter. And then I found out that like most of them were like teenagers themselves. Like, they're not to say that like all teenagers are like dumb as shit, but like a lot of teenagers wind up being dumb as shit. I know, because I was a teenager who was dumb as shit at one point in time, who thought that everyone else around me was dumb as shit. So, you know, that's what you're dealing with when you're on Twitter, especially comic book Twitter. It is what it is. If you gotta take a break, take a break. Screw comic book Twitter. You're telling me. Power Pack is good. Okay. I mean, that's the one I always point to, as like hokey, like 80s comics. Although you're right, I've never read it. If you recommend it, I'll check it out. I like Golden Age Superman. I want that Superman to come back. Well, I kind of think it's cool that Philip Johnson is doing some of that in his current Action Comics run, which is coming to an end, unfortunately. But yeah, Philip Kennedy Johnson, I think, brought some of that back to the character. Grant Morrison just straight up made New 52 Superman Golden Age Superman. I thought that was really cool. And I will always resent the internet for not embracing it at the time, but choosing to embrace it now after it's 10 years too fucking late. Thanks, guys. We can't have nice things. But yeah, I want to see Golden Age Superman reflected in some more of the video games coming out if DC ever makes a Superman video game. I might end up streaming the Game Awards tomorrow, so I mean, we'll see. It depends on if my internet connection is up to snuff, but I'm definitely gonna try to stream that tomorrow. I hope that they announce a Superman game. That'd be cool if they did. They're probably not going to, but it'd be cool. We might actually end up seeing like a trailer for the Wonder Woman game, because that was announced like 2 fucking years ago. Like, Jesus Christ. And we might like get some DLC information for like Spider-Man. That's what I'm betting on. But we'll see tomorrow. But yeah, I would love to see Golden Age Superman come back for a video game. In fact, that was like the entire pitch of my Superman video game pitch video. It's literally just me riffing off of Grant Morrison and Rags Morales's. Oh crap! I think I. Oh man. Wait. Am I visible? You see me? Do you hear me? I think I cut out for a little bit, but yeah, for anyone who can see me, or I guess yeah, I would like to see Golden Age Superman come back, especially in a video game. I do hope James Gunn brings some of that flavor back to Superman on film. But Wally West is my Flash. I mean, he's mine too, but a lot of that just comes from the fact that we grew up with him as the Flash. Like, I think for like 2 whole generations, Wally was the Flash. What do you think of Marv Wolfman's writing style? Marv Wolfman is a comic book legend, and I respect the hell out of him. But for the love of God, his writing just does not do it for me. There is stuff here and there that I've read that I liked from him. I like his Vigilante series. There are things in his New Teen Titans book that I like. There are Batman stories that he's written that I like. There are Superman stories that he's written that I like. But on the whole, I wouldn't consider myself like a big Marv Wolfman fan. Yeah, I don't know. His writing style is just not for me. Unfortunately. But I like a lot of his ideas. That's like the big problem I kind of run into with him. I like a lot of his ideas, but like the way he kind of goes about communicating them just doesn't really resonate with me. Oh crap. Let's see. Why is my internet crappy all of a sudden? Alright, hopefully that helps. Alright. Well, I might have to end the stream soon because apparently YouTube can't handle just my face talking. Okay, well that seems to be better now. Let me try to do this. Let's see. Alright, well, I hope that kind of works in the meantime. Alright. I think that's maybe about as good as it's gonna get. But, let's see. Debbie asked a question. Speaking of Crisis, we did get a trailer in the... Yeah, I mean, the animation for the Tomorrowverse always looks really good. I still feel like the Tomorrowverse is kind of dead for me. I don't... I don't know. I'd rather just DC do, like, self-contained stories again. I'm kind of tired of them trying to, like, adapt stories, but, like, within the framework of enough of the bullshit. Just, if you're gonna make Superman American Alien, make Superman American Alien. If you're gonna make Green Arrow, Green Lantern, Hard Traveling Heroes, make Green Arrow, Green Lantern, Hard Traveling Heroes. Adapt Zero Hour. If you're gonna adapt the Death of Superman, just fucking straight up adapt the Death of Superman. Stop trying to, like, take these classic stories and mold them to the universe that you're building. Because then sometimes I think you just end up fucking it up. That's how you end up with, like, an adaptation of the Judas Contract where Dick Grayson is already Nightwing. Which misses the point of Dick Grayson becoming Nightwing. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm just not really, I don't know. I'm not really down with DC doing all these, like, big crossover stories, but whatever. So what about the Death of E-83 Superman? That was a change that people liked. I mean, kind of. I guess, like, people generally liked it. I thought it was stupid. I thought it was genuinely, like, really dumb to just kill off. Okay, it presented more problems than it was worth. So, okay. The Superman that you have in your universe, you kill him off. You take a different Superman from a different Earth, different continuity. You put him in this new continuity where now he doesn't know anybody there. Like, he knows versions of characters, but he doesn't actually know those characters. So now, like, this new Superman is a refugee in a DC universe that he's unfamiliar with. And then you get the whole thing where, like, Superman Reborn says that New 52 Superman and Post-Crisis Superman are actually two halves of the same Superman, and when you put them together, they become real Superman. It's just so stupid. Also, it makes, like, the timeline of John Kent existing even more confusing than the timeline of Damian Wayne existing, which is a feat in and of itself. I don't know, dude. I do not like... I didn't like anything about the way DC went about Superman Rebirth. There were some cute stories that came out in that era, but, like, ultimately, looking back, holy shit, what a clusterfuck that was. But yeah, you're right. People did like it. If you just ignored the continuity of it all. I loved Peter Parker and Mary Jane marriage. Yeah, but again, that's because we grew up with it. Like I assume like you're around my age, maybe a little older, maybe a little younger, but like we're around the same age. We grew up with that status quo, but people who are older than us, they did not like it. They didn't like it. Yeah, One More Day was universally hated. Yeah, it was. Supreme Omega says, I wonder why you are more okay with DC trying to be baby Marvel than Marvel being baby DC. Isn't both approaches flawed? I think in a weird way, I think DC is a little more versatile than Marvel is, just by virtue of the way the Marvel Universe was kind of set up. I am okay with telling DC stories where things are a little more cynical over here, or things are a little like things like world building is a little more structured here as opposed to there. But like I don't know, Marvel I think is just like such a. It starts off as like such a well-oiled machine where things are in place. There's lore. You're building off of things. Like there's a set way the Marvel Universe is supposed to look and feel, and when you deviate from that, I don't like it. Like alarm bells ring off in my head. Whereas DC is just like haphazardly thrown together, like universe, if we're gonna call it that, to where I'm like okay with a little more experimentation. I don't know. Maybe that's just me being inconsistent and weird, but like that's why I'm kind of more okay with like DC mimicking Marvel than I am Marvel mimicking DC. Marvel sounds like Vegeta. Yeah, they really are. Speaking of Marvel Comics, why do you think they allowed Jonathan Hickman to bring back Peter Parker and MJ's marriage? Because it's not in the main 616 universe. I'm going to talk about this in my the video that I have coming out tomorrow, but Marvel will throw bones to Dad Peter fans every once in a while. Like they'll give you here's a continuation of the Mayday Parker Spider-Girl book. Here's a new book over here where Peter Parker's a dad in that other universe over there. Here's a story about adult Peter Parker in this universe over there. Here is a universe where One More Day never happened, and it's written by Jerry Conway. Ooh, don't you love that? So Marvel's totally fine with throwing bones to comic fans. who want to see like a married Peter Parker and Mary Jane, as long as it takes place in a universe that's not the main 616 universe. Yeah, they're totally fine with doing that. Also, Benny, do you find it a bit creepy anytime he writes Kitty Pryde? Feels like he's indulging in his childhood fictional crush. Oh, Bendis? A little bit. Although, to be fair, I think a lot of the writing surrounding Kitty Pryde is a little weird. Just going back to like the DNA of that character. I remember I was telling my girlfriend about how Kitty Pryde is modeled after, I think, Chris Claremont's mom, which gets really weird when you start delving into the whole idea of her being in a relationship with Colossus, who's like this, it's like 25-year-old Russian man, and Kitty Pryde's like a 13-year-old girl. It's just let's not pretend like Bendis is the one who starts getting weird with Kitty Pryde. Like, this was a character who was already off to a pretty problematic start. So, I don't know. I guess I'm just kind of desensitized to the weirdness with Kitty. Screw comic book Twitter. Dude, say it louder for the people in the back. On Judas Contract, my own problem is how Tara gets more punishment than Slade. Like, Tara is a bitch, but Slade is a grown man, yet he's portrayed as less monstrous. Yeah, at least within the confines of the Wolfman and Perez material, he is. Because Slade is kind of approached as, like, being methodical and also, like, emotionally and, like, intellectually detached. So there are just, like, social norms that we in the West have that he's like, in Vietnam we used to do this all the time. And it's like, bro, we're not in Vietnam. And even when you were that, but whatever. Go off, King. But I do like how Christopher Priest kind of plays up how disconnected and detached and, like, truly sociopathic Slade actually is. And, like, he really, like, leans into the fact that Slade is broken. I think Christopher Priest might be one of the first people to, like, really kind of take the evil Batman angle with Slade Wilson to its furthest extreme with the Rebirth run. So yeah, dude, I don't know. I like Slade Wilson a lot as, like, one of the evil clones, like one of the 8 million evil Batman clones that DC has. I think he's one of the better ones though. When he's written well. It was his question. I was just wondering if you'd like to join me for Video Game Awards tomorrow. Yeah, man. Yeah. Hopefully. It depends on when I get in from work because they have me closing this whole week. Which may or may not have been my fault. I may have asked my boss to stop putting me at the opening shift because I don't behave like a person when I open the store. But yeah, I'll definitely try. If I do, I'll get there super late. Oh crap, am I still cutting in and out? Crap. Question on the subject of Bendis. Why do you think he basically destroyed the Superman family for his terrible Legion book? Well, you answered your own question. Oh crap, hold on a second. Wait. Let's see. Okay. Hopefully that fixes that. Um. Okay, there we go. Looks like I'm kind of operational there. Um. But. Uh. Oh shit. Okay, never mind. I guess not. Okay, never mind. There we go. Okay, cool. So yeah, Tevye, to answer your own question, I think you actually answered your own question there. Uh, Bendis had an idea that he wanted to explore. It just so happens that it was a bad idea. That's it. Supreme says, on older comic book writing, do you miss thought balloons? Hmm. No. I don't know if this is like a nuanced take or anything like that, but everyone kind of talks about like uh, word balloons as if they were this sort of great thing that we've done away with, but replacing them with captions is I don't know. It's kind of like the changeover from the analog clock to the digital clock. Like it's still a clock. Like it still tells me the time. You know, and sometimes they're styled after like sometimes like you see digital clocks that are like styled after analog clocks, which is like what's the point? Um and like you see that with like thought captions. They're sort of like they do thought captions, but they're like weirdly modeled after like old school word balloons. So then it's like why even do the thought caption? Why not just do a word or like why not do like a thought bubble? Just, I don't know. But that's essentially how I view it. It's a thing that I see a lot of people like feel very strongly about, and I'm just like, they didn't really go away. We just changed them a little bit. Whatever. um, Marv Wolfman's Man and Superman is a great origin. Um, I wish I felt the same. To me, it just kind of felt by the time I read it like extremely derivative of other Superman origins that have come out. Um, Maybe I'm just not being fair to it though. I don't know. On Tim Drake, I wonder why the Bat Office made him a rich boy. Wasn't he supposed to be a normal, relatable Robin? Yet his family was privileged and well off. Um. Well, there's also the matter of like the '90s is like an age of like great prosperity for America. Um. Like I could totally see also having Tim Drake represent uh, an idealized version of Bruce Wayne. You could do something like interesting things could be done with that parallel. Um, I don't know. I don't know why they ultimately chose to make him a rich kid, but I do like it. I think it draws an interesting parallel between Tim and Bruce Wayne, and how Tim is kind of Bruce Wayne if his life didn't turn to shit as a kid. So I don't know. I like Tim Drake as a rich kid. So here's this question: any opinion on Alan Wake 2? No, because I've never played Alan Wake. Um, Dark Knight says, I may be enjoying Crisis, but I've been reading one or two issues every now and then. I get your pain that Marvel stuff feels like homework, just a little bit. It's really just his writing style. His writing style just doesn't sex in the same way that like Walt Simonson kinda is sex, or like who's another writer from that time period? Grant Morrison's kind of sexy. Mark Waid can sometimes be stiff, but like he balances the line between like stiff and sexy. I don't know. And John Byrne, I think his writing style is super clunky, but like he has really out there ideas that draw me in. So I don't know. Marv Wolfman himself is just, he has a very standard writing style that just kind of I don't know, doesn't attack me in the same way that like it attacks other people. Supreme says, do you feel DC has lessened their overexposure on Batman? Why not focus on and promote other characters and titles? Fear. DC is literally me at like age 19 in the dating market. You can't lose if you don't try. That's DC's mindset. Oh, I didn't know you were in your 30s. Damn. Yeah, you are older than I am. Yeah, I'm 28. Or no, 27. I'm going to be 28. I'm just anticipating. I'm anticipating saying that I'm 28 because 2024 is around the corner. I personally like Superman Reborn. I mean, I'm glad you liked it. It just kind of felt like, I feel like if DC wanted to win classic traditional Superman fans over with New 52 Superman, all they had to do was just start writing New 52 Superman more like a standard post Christopher Reeve, post John Byrne era Superman. I feel like that's all they had to do. Instead, they did this complicated bullshit of like, well, it's the old Superman that you know in the new setting, but congratulations, you won people over, but at what cost? You've now made your universe just completely incomprehensible. It's just dribble. It's dribble and it makes no sense. Why doesn't DC just retcon everything Bendis did at DC Comics? Probably because they're gearing up for another reboot. That's probably why. I know you'll always defend Identity Crisis, but here's the one thing that bothers me. How did Gene Loring know about Tim's secret identity? Because Tim was very protective about his double life at the time. So I always assumed that they were playing they were playing with the Super Friends trope, that like all of the senior leaguers and all the superheroes, they just kind of know. They just know each other's identities, and they spill beans. You know, it's that like everybody talks in the office kind of a thing. That's always been my takeaway. And at some point, Ray heard from somebody that Batman's latest Robin was Tim Drake, and then he told Gene at some point, and that's how Gene knew. It's not explicitly stated, so if you want to deduct points from the story, that's totally fair, and I totally buy that criticism, and that is completely valid and sound. But That's what I always kind of took from it. I always imagined it was like one of those, like, it's a small community and everyone sort of talks kind of a thing. But yeah, Tim says, question: do you believe Marvel and DC should be doing events every single year? No, I think Marvel and DC doing events every single year is the reason. I think it's one of the big reasons why a lot of comic book fans have dropped off in comics and are taking breaks. I think a lot of people are just tired. They're tired of DC rebranding Crisis every like 6 months, and they're tired of Marvel putting out a new event every 3 months that promises to change the Marvel Universe forever, and it doesn't. Yeah, I definitely think that's a big problem. That I think Glenn kind of didn't really kind of like point out in that video that kind of went viral this week. But piggybacking off that, I think that is definitely a problem that has led to the lull in comic sales these past couple of years. The constant flood of events that just kind of feel like they don't matter. That's a big problem. So rereading the Brian Q. Miller Batgirl run, it's still good, but I do have a problem with how the run softens Stephanie's edge and anger. She feels less like the angry, traumatized spoiler of the 90s and early 2000s. So I didn't exactly have a problem with that. Mainly because, and as John Ty kind of points out, I would consider that to be like character growth. Like, this is a character who, especially post War Games, she had a break. Like, so she just got to chill for a little bit. I would consider Stephanie, by the time she becomes Batgirl, that's like the peak that character can be. That is her at her most zen. Whereas when she's Oracle, she's like rough, tumble, and angry. When she's Batgirl, she's like, she's elegant, she's graceful. God, as elegant and graceful as like Stephanie Brown can be, but still, relatively speaking, she's less rough around the edges now. She's been forged. Like, she's no longer the rough slab of metal that you see